my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. Today we are going to be reading your guys' MLM horror stories. I hope you guys are having the most amazing and blessed Friday. If you are watching this on Friday, if you aren't, what day are you watching this? So I am going to be reading the stories that you guys have sent me. If you want to send me your own MLM horror story, here's my new email. So let's just get right into it. What are you drinking today? I have lots of water. I'm feeling very dehydrated. The first one is a Pampered Chef story. It says, Pampered Chef rep wouldn't cancel my order when my brother-in-law, I think it's what it means, BIL, died. I would like to keep my story anonymous. I worked in a bank and saw firsthand how little money these small business owners were actually making. When I was pregnant, I was targeted by oil huns. Thankfully, I was skeptical about using stuff not recommended by my doctor, and this was at the beginning of the oil MLM frenzy. And there wasn't a lot of information available about using oils during pregnancy and MLMs. We also had customers that sold other MLM products like Tupperware and Pampered Chef, and sometimes I felt bad for them and would try and find an inexpensive item I could buy from them. One of the customers was a single mom that had moved back to the area I worked in to try and get back with this guy she had dated before. The guy was also a customer at my branch, and he had a huge crush on me, even though he knew I was married. He wrote on the back of a deposit slip how beautiful he thought I was and would come in just about every day and try to time his transaction so I would have to help him. He was also very upset when he found out I was pregnant. I kept my personal life private. Customers don't need to know my business, but I was very clear that I was very happily married, so it was really weird how upset he got about my pregnancy. He also made it clear through his stories about partying that he was happy to keep living a 20-something bachelor even though he was in his 40s. The girlfriend sought me out to let me know he was in a relationship with her and needed it to work, which makes me think he maybe talked about me to her. I mentioned it to my coworkers and she didn't make it a point to let them know her relationship status with him. So weird and creepy. I felt bad for her and knew she didn't have a lot of money, so I made a fairly large Pampered Chef order. She didn't seem to have much urgency to actually process the order. It was well over a week, maybe 2 weeks, and she hadn't processed my order. During that time, I went on early maternity leave due to a pregnancy complication. The day I went out on leave, I found out my brother-in-law, oh no. I found out my brother-in-law had committed, and I had to be the one to call my husband and let him know his brother was gone. We were completely devastated and anticipating having to pay for a funeral. I contacted her and let her know what happened, and since she hadn't actually placed the order, could she just cancel it? She hadn't placed the order yet and wouldn't cancel my order either. She said it was too late to cancel and she had to place the order and basically rushed to put the order in after I got off the phone with her, so I couldn't try and block it or cancel my card. Literally, it was charged after I got off the phone with her. Thankfully, a friend of my brother-in-law set up a GoFundMe, so we didn't have to pay for new baby and a funeral. Also, the Pampered Chef items were shipped directly to my house, so I never had to see or speak to that woman ever again. I left my job to stay home with my child, so actually, I never had to see either one of them again. I did see the guy a couple years later, and he was on a lunch date with a different woman, so I assume their relationship didn't work out, and thankfully, he didn't see me. I hope this story was clear and made sense. One, I'm so sorry for your loss. That's devastating. With that being said, this lady, she deserves. How dare someone call you and say, can you please cancel my order because my brother-in-law has committed you know what, and I can't afford to pay for a funeral and these Pampered Chef products, and you not cancel it, but instead hurry and rush the order in. I would be livid. I really hope you got your money back. You didn't say if you did, like if you shipped the products back and got your money back, but that is one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard someone do. Like, how could a person do that? I don't even know. I can't. I have no words for that story. The next one is about Herbalife. It says, hi, I am writing to you from the other side of the world, and I've been binging on anti-MLM content lately. In a country of just below 2 million people, oh, Latvia is where she lives. In a country of just below 2 million people, I would even say we have quite a lot of MLMs. Herbalife, Avon, Oriflame, Greenway, Amway, to name a few. One of the most popular ones is NL International. It is a Russian health supplement MLM that has quite a big following in Latvia as well. The Russian anti-MLM community is full of videos about them. They're so toxic. Anyways, I went on a tangent already. My horror story is about Herbalife, and it all happened in the mid-2000s. Trigger warning for EDs. First, a little background on the people involved. My grandfather is prone to all kinds of conspiracy theories. He's just that kind of person, and that makes him a good target for MLM. He has been active and fit his whole life, but as he got older, he gained a little bit of weight, and that made him a perfect candidate for Herbalife. I was around 10 years old then, and puberty started to hit me. Hormones were going crazy, and I was a little bit chubby and taller than others, so I just looked big. My mother is a pediatric doctor, so she knows very well that girls can go through some weight gain when growing up, and was not too worried about it. Also, my GP said that the weight will even out as I grow, and that is okay. Now, the horror story part of it all. My grandfather joined Herbalife and was trying to sell those cocktails to everyone in our family, to my mother, his daughter, and even the whole dad side of the family he has met maybe once or twice. It was awful, and he had a huge stash of Herbalife starter pack products at home he had spent a few $100s on. Soon enough, he understood that this is not going well and he is losing money and not losing weight, and he started to prey on me. Let me remind you, I was a 10-year-old with a body still developing. He was bugging my mother that I was fat and that I will be unhealthy and obese as I grow up, that I need to buy his cocktails to lose and control my weight. He also got into my head with it, telling me that I am bigger than other girls in my class, etc. From that, I developed an ED and got conscious about my body at a very young age. I started dieting when I was just 12 years old, and at age 14, I developed bulimia that lasted up until I was 20 and started doing therapy. It's crazy to think how my own dear and loving grandfather went against me, and I am still struggling with body image more than 15 years after it happened. Thankfully, my mother is a doctor and knew that Herbalife will not solve my weight issues. Otherwise, now I would not only be struggling with body image, but also ruined my health eating those awful tasting cocktails. Now, I also remember my grandfather once came to my brother's birthday party with Herbalife testers to give to all the guests. Awful. He left the MLM at some point and has come to his senses that it was a pyramid scheme, but the damage was already done and has been haunting me my whole life. These today are just hard ones to read. I'm so sorry that you've been struggling with that, and no one deserves to be told those things to the point where at age 12 they start dieting. And that is one of the things that starts EDs for young little girls, because they believe that, you know, their body shouldn't be how it is and they compare themselves. And having someone older tell you those kind of things can really bring on those issues, right? It could bring on those issues with confidence and self-esteem issues and feeling like your body should look some other type of way, which at the age of 10, like, really? That frustrates me to see. It's really sad because, again, no kid should be told that. Like, none. No kid or any human being in general should be told that they need to lose weight like that. And if they are told that, you know, they're not in a healthy range, let that be up to a doctor and a parent with their child. So sorry. And I'm curious if this has happened to anybody else. Has anyone in your family been in an MLM and then tried to, you know, put it upon your children? I know we see it a lot in the oil MLMs, but not so much in one like Herbalife, where someone in Herbalife would try and have, you know, their grandchild take the product. So let's move on to the next one. This one says, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 5 times, Lord help me learn. That is a good one. She says, hey lovely, I've been watching a lot of your content, other MLM creators. I thought I would share my story. I have stories from multiple different MLMs. 2 are distributor stories and the rest are customer ones. I'm warning you now, it's super long. So the first story is with Nuskin. She says, I wasn't harassed into joining this company and I technically am still signed up as a distributor, although I no longer sell. Some of the products really have done amazing things for my skin, and I haven't found anything that works the same for cheaper, so I keep the account for the discount. Anyways, I saw the friend that I used to work with selling stuff, so I asked her about it, and she told me it was completely free, so I said, why not? And it really was completely free. You don't have to buy a starter pack to join, and you don't have any monthly quotas or anything to keep your account active. Now, I don't know how other teams are, but my uplines weren't really pushy about recruiting or even advancing to the next rank. They would always say, if you only want to make an extra $100, that's fine, and if you want to make more, that's even better. But the only commission you receive until you hit executive, the first rank up, is solely from retail sales and orders that your downline actually places themselves. So if your downline sends their website to customers for orders instead of ordering it themselves and shipping it out, you don't get paid for that, but you do get volume points. In order to hit executive, you have to get 9,000 volume points in 3 months, which is pretty much impossible unless you have grown a large team that actually sells product. Like I said earlier, they weren't really pushy or anything compared to other MLM. They would say you needed to post at least one time a day, but only post about the business twice a week so your page wouldn't become obnoxious. And you needed to engage a certain amount of times a day. And they would say if you need a break, take a day, but don't take longer than a day, get back to being active. And if I would say that I was having a hard time, they would always say something along the lines of, have you been completing the checklist? Or have you been doing personal development? They really push PD. A lot of times they would say that the business wouldn't work if we didn't do PD every day. And they would share PD videos to the group, but they would always be from Nuskin top earners. Or they would just say, it takes time. And they would make me feel like I was trying to rush it without actually putting in the work. So I would just go back to quote unquote working. They were really big on connecting and not cold messaging people. But eventually it started to feel like cold messaging anyways. Before long, I got tired of the pressure to post every day and keep up the lifestyle versus business posts and the constant messaging of being on my phone all the time, so I stopped selling. And also, if you weren't selling as much or working as hard as they thought you should, they didn't want to help you. I would ask questions in the team group and they wouldn't get answered. So I would ask it to the team chat and it would be read and never answered. So then I'd send it individually to my 2 uplines. My actual upline had stopped working at the time. She only does the business a couple months out of the year and then stops until the next year. I think she works it when she gets bored and I don't know. So anyways, I'd send it to them individually and still no response. So then I made a group chat with the 2 of them and asked the same question and only then would they answer me. It would be hours later. And then one of them would do lives and say, I match energy with energy, so if I feel like you're not really working the business, I'm not wasting my time on you. That's a very common thing, honestly, that I feel I hear in every MLM. And honestly, that's the most negative thing that she would publicly say. I'm sure she was shit talking everyone in private, but she was never really mean to us publicly in the groups like how I've seen in Beachbody and Monat. But like, my thing is, how do you know that these people aren't working hard? You don't know, you're just assuming based off their volume points, and that really pissed me off. I know this isn't really a horror story, but it's my experience with Nuskin. I also want to throw in the little fact about my Nuskin upline, not a horror story. I just found this really weird. She was married with 2 daughters. They lived in a huge 2-story home. It had 4 bedrooms. The master, one of the grandmothers had a room, an office, and the girls shared a room. So she made this live talking about how they were selling their home to get something bigger so the girls could have separate rooms. Remember that for later. Well, they moved into a small rental house for a few months while they were selling their old house and hunting for a new one. They eventually found another 2-story home and moved in. But get this, their daughters still share a room. So what was the point? You just wasted so much money to get a bigger home so your kids could have separate rooms just for you to have them share the room anyways. I mean, think about it. They have to pay the realtor to sell their home, pay the rental deposits, pay to move all the utilities over and all of that. Then they had to pay for the new home and switch all their utilities again. Granted, they did sell their old home. But why go through all of that just to buy a home that was supposedly bought so your kids could have their own rooms, and they wound up having to share rooms again anyways? It kind of makes me wonder if there was something else going on. Maybe she wasn't making as much money as she claimed and they needed to find a home that maybe wasn't as nice as the one they had so they could pay less on mortgage each month. But I honestly don't know how all of that stuff works. It's just odd that you would sell your home to buy something bigger and then not actually get something bigger. My Herbalife story. I've been following this family for a while. I just liked their vibe. They sold Herbalife and had great results with it. Her husband lost around 200 pounds. I got pregnant and I've always been underweight. I weighed 95 pounds when I got pregnant and I've never been the person to eat breakfasts and crap like that. But I wanted to make sure I was getting enough calories and nutrients for baby without constantly eating super unhealthy food. So they talked me into using Herbalife. No, just to have something easy for breakfast before work because I was never hungry for breakfast. So a shake was just easier for me. I didn't follow the Herbalife nutrition plan though. They even gave me a pregnancy one and I didn't feel it was necessary. I think it would keep me full, so I just ate as I wanted to since I was pregnant and I tried to choose healthier options. I just did the shakes for breakfast and I always added extra protein because their shakes were never filling. I'm not sure if that's just because I was pregnant or if that's normal. Anyways, about 2 months before I gave birth, they convinced me to sign up as a distributor. It was only around $65 at the time, so I did it. And they told me to just start posting me using the products and stuff, which I did, no big deal. But then they said write down a list of 100 people and start contacting them. I didn't feel comfortable doing this because who the F am I to reach out to people and ask them if they want to lose weight? That's just rude. So I didn't do that. But when I would question what to say to people about the shakes and their actual food intake, my uplines would say, check the team chat and search that question. Anything you need is there. Okay, like what? So not only am I not qualified to teach people what to consume, you want me to search through this group that had been up for years So there were millions of messages in there and just guess that I'm correct in what I'm telling these people. And I didn't like that at all. And there were no nutritional training videos or anything like that. You did have to complete online training, but it was literally just about the company and the products, nothing about actual nutrition or anything like that. So I was just done with Herbalife at that point. Not only are they not certified, but they don't even provide training for people who want to learn more about nutrition. And besides that, their compensation plan is so confusing. Oh, and another thing that really pissed me off when I was selling, I never sold a thing though. Customers would say that they didn't have the money for it because it was really expensive. She would then say, ask them how much their health is worth. Ew, it's so scammy and cringy. It's not that expensive if you're replacing your meals with the shakes because you're not having to buy as much food. First of all, these people were people with families. Just because one person wanted to do Herbalife doesn't mean the whole family does. So say you've got $300 a month for groceries. If one person wanted to do Herbalife, that would at least take a minimum $160 for just one person. So then all you have left for your spouse and kids for groceries for the month is $160. How is that fair to your family? Yeah, you might be getting healthier, but your family barely has food for the month because you spent it all on Herbalife and you're the only one doing it. That just infuriates me. So that's my Herbalife experience. It works. This happened years and years ago. I was on IG and I saw a girl talking about how she had been taking these supplements that made her hair grow. I've always struggled with hair growth, so I tried it out. I of course did the 3-month program that gives you that special discount. I got the supplements a few days later. They smelled disgusting, by the way. And after my first bottle was gone, I had no hair growth results, but my nails were growing like crazy, which was awesome because I also struggled with that. After the second bottle, I messaged the girl because my hair still wasn't growing. And I told her that my hair wasn't getting results, but my nails were. And her response was, you have to drink water for it to break down properly, not sodas. Do you drink any water? Water is pretty much all I drink, with the occasional 1 glass of tea or soda per day. So I told her, yes, I do drink water. And she responded with, well, you're not drinking enough water or it would be working. Okay, so I drank enough water for it to break down enough to grow my nails, right? Because I was getting nail growth, but not enough for my hair to grow. How does that make sense? Products work differently for everyone. So maybe I was one of the very few that the product didn't work for. That's fine. But don't talk to me saying I don't drink enough water. Not only was it just rude, it just made me feel like she was trying to take a personal jab at my health instead of just saying, I'm sorry that it didn't work for you. Maybe we could try something else. It's like she felt personally attacked by me saying that the products didn't work. I didn't even take the 3rd bottle when I finally threw them out because I opened them just to see how they held up. And every single one of them were stuck together in this one nasty stinking ball. It worked. Story number 2. I'm not going to say much about this one because the image speaks for itself, but a little backstory. I had never talked to this girl before. My daughter had just been born less than a month before. She was about 3 weeks old. So obviously I still had that natural pudge you get after recently having a baby. Not actual fat, but just the bloated look. Your uterus fully shrinks back like it's supposed to, you know? I also hadn't posted a full body pic in a long time. Definitely not since giving birth. So she didn't know what my body looked like at all before or after my pregnancy. I would also like to add that even though my reply back to her was snarky, her message really got me down. I was crying afterwards and I asked my boyfriend a million times if I really looked that bad. It made me so upset and it made me question my body, even though I had no reason to. That's so sad. Let's see if I can get access to this image. So the photo says, hey, want to lose that mom bod? And our girl responds with, wow, I actually don't think I looked bad. Besides, can't recall even posting a picture for anyone to see my mom bod. Thanks, but no thanks. I'm perfectly happy with the way I look after having my baby. And then the MLM rep sends her 2 voice memos, 58 seconds both, and says, I'm sorry, I feel so bad. I meant to send a message after, but I just got sidetracked because my family showed up and I set my phone down without even sending the message. I feel like the crappiest person ever right now. And then she tried to call her and our girl didn't respond. As you should not respond. That's so disgusting. I'm not a mom, guys, and I hope to one day, be blessed enough to be a mom, but that's disgusting. 3 weeks ago, someone had a kid. And can we appreciate the fact that having a whole human grow inside of you is this magical thing that is okay for after that magical thing exits the body, it's okay for your body to look like it just had a whole child in there. There's nothing wrong with that. And I hate seeing moms be shamed for their bodies or how they need to start working out because of their mom bod. This person just had a kid. The child just exited the area. Let the body figure itself out, okay? I just can't imagine any actual health professional or actual personal trainer reaching out to someone and being like, are you ready? Hey mom, Are you ready to lose that mom bod? I know you just had a kid 3 weeks ago, but like, it's time to get back on the wagon. I guarantee you 99.9% of fitness actual professionals that know what they're doing would never do that to someone. Such just disgusting, okay? Now she has a Monat story, so now I can see why her title said, fool me once, shame on you, fool me 5 times, Lord help me learn. So next one is Monat. She says, I've never been big on spending a crap ton of money on hair products. Generally, the most I'll spend on a product by itself is around $10. Unless it's Redken, I love them, but they're a little pricey. So anyways, I was in this girls Monat group and she sent me a sample of the shampoo and conditioner. I used it once and hated the way it made my hair feel. So I told her about it and she said, you have to keep using it to get all of that buildup out of your hair. I didn't keep using it and I also didn't purchase anything else. Fast forward a few weeks and somehow I had won a free product. She tagged me in a post announcing it and I never heard from her. So about a week later, I asked about the giveaway just because I was curious and she wound up sending me a thickening spray. So I tried it and honestly, it didn't do anything for my hair. And if I used it on wet hair, it made my hair feel really dirty. Like not even oily, but actually dirty. Like I could feel particles and stuff in it. But if I put it on dry hair, it made my hair look really oily. It didn't feel oily, it just looked that way, which was super weird to me. I never used those products again, and that's when I started seeing all the posts about Monat causing hair loss. I was so thankful I didn't wound up believing the spiel about it has to remove all the buildup first. It doesn't sound pleasant. So the last MLM is Scentsy. So basically, I knew this girl because we sold Nuskin together and she started doing Scentsy too. So I went to one of her online parties and I did my own party with her in July because I wanted to try to earn enough points to join Scentsy. A friend of mine placed an order. She made it through PayPal because the girl said she could get it a little cheaper that way. Well, after the party, she said she would total up my points. I messaged her every day and finally heard back a week later and she said she was still totaling up the points because she had extended the party. I never heard back from her again. A month later, my friend said she never received her stuff. So we both messaged her. Is this gonna be like a scam? No response. I messaged her again 2 days later, no response. Messaged her the next day, no response. So I posted on her wall that I had messaged her. She responded with, I'm so sorry, everything is back ordered. I thought I messaged you. She also messaged my friend back, so she decided to wait a week and see if the stuff came in. A week went by and we never heard from her. So we started messaging her. I messaged her daily with no response. Had to post on her wall again before she responded. A week later, she said she'd refunded her the money. Another week passes and my friend still didn't have her money. So I started messaging her daily again. No response. 3 days later, I posted on her wall again. Again, she told her that since she wasn't reading my messages, I had to get her attention somehow. And my friend still had not gotten her money back. I don't know what's going on, but she needed a refund for her money now. And the next morning, my friend had got her money back. It's funny how people will be shady like that until they're exposed in public. I haven't been fooled with Scentsy since. I also signed up with Beachbody once, but I didn't really have a story there. I got a free 14-day trial for the workouts and I reached out to the girl I knew was in it. She wound up signing me over to her somehow so she could make me her client. She reached out to me a few times to ask how the workouts were going, but she never pushed me to try any of the products or anything. But I looked on her IG the other day and it looked like she might have quit Beachbody. Thank you so much for taking the time to read this. I know it was long. I'm so happy and thankful I found you and other anti-MLM YouTubers. You guys have really opened my eyes to the horrors that happen in MLM. I will say being in Nuskin really helped me with my mindset. Like you say about Beachbody, Nuskin was a tool to help me achieve my positive mindset. Nuskin didn't do it, I did, but it aided me. I honestly would have never started listening to personal development had it not been for the company. I would have never learned how to control my temper and anxiety on my own. I would still be miserable mentally. I would still be angry all the time, but I'm not, and I'm grateful for that. That being said, I'm not interested in being a part of another MLM. It's not worth it for me, and I'm in an amazing place in life, still figuring myself out. I have an amazing husband and daughter who brought so much joy to this world. Again, thank you so much. Oh, I love the happy ending. That was a really good one to read. I can't believe she was in what? She was in 5, but technically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 because she did do Beachbody for a minute, but just as a customer, that's crazy. That's so many MLMs and so many stories. Let's read another one. This one's about Beachbody and it's titled Beachbody Not a Community. Hey girl, hey. Ew, I hate that I say that. I recently found your YouTube channel and I've been binging all of your videos and I love them. My story is nothing too wild, but here it goes. So back in 2017, I reached out to a Beachbody coach who I knew through a high school trip that I took. When I first joined, I joined just as a customer and was so excited about the community and accountability that she always talked about in her posts and stories. When I joined, I really did like the programs and saw results. My quote-unquote coach would message me every so often asking if I wanted to sign up as a discount coach. I always came up with an excuse because, to be honest, the products were expensive and I didn't think they were worth it. Other than that, I've never really found the support or community that I was looking for when I signed up, so when it came time for my membership to renew, I canceled it. Fast forward to spring 2020. I started running and was just looking for something else to get back into a good fitness routine. I had seen that they were launching a new program that looked like something I would enjoy, so again I reached out to the same coach. After watching her stories for the years in between, it was clear she was doing well in the company and she portrayed this huge supportive community and accountability in the team that she's built for herself, which again is what I wanted. So I thought to myself, I'll give it another go. Maybe I just wasn't active enough in the group last time. So I signed up. She signed me up as a quote-unquote discount coach and I got access to Beachbody on demand, which also signed me up for auto ship, eye roll. After the first month, I totally forgot and was not so pleasantly surprised with another Shakeology/supplement order of $250. I ended up returning that because I didn't love them and it's expensive. You also have to pay the monthly coaching fee, which is around $20 in Canada, which I was not interested in recruiting people. It is not who I am as a person and hate when I get "hey girl" huns in my DM. Like I said, I joined for the accountability and support. I was added to all of the groups, but they were like ghost towns. There was no one who religiously posted or lifted people up. I reached out a couple times to my coach saying I needed accountability and she would be all on board for 2 days and then I would never hear from her again. At one point, I had a friend who was interested in the Beachbody program, so I asked my coach about signing her up and then I received endless messages pressuring me to sign up my friend and her saying there's no point in getting one person. You need a second so you can get to Emerald. No thanks. After watching for so long and seeing my coach brag about the community, I realize now that it's all for show and really the community is just for people who actually want to work the business, because those are the ones who make the uplines their money. I was thoroughly disappointed and it's honestly so terrible how awesome they make things seem just to lure people in so that they can keep ranking up. I'm still in all the groups and it's honestly astonishing how often they post about power hours and team calls and seeing people so brainwashed by it all. And the ridiculous training groups, which all surround cold messaging and honestly how I see it spamming other people to join. I really did end up enjoying the new program and still do the workouts, but this just shows how if you're not making your upline money, they do not care about you and will not help you / support you in your journey. Sorry if it was long, but I clearly had so much to say. Thank you for shining a light on MLMs and educating people before they get caught in one or helping them get out. Yeah, I will admit this is something I've seen in Beachbody and find, like she said, when it's talked about community and things like that, they're talking about the team and they're trying to bring people in that way. So it's really sad because anyone who signs up as a client should get someone that is going to be there for them, like an actual coach. And that's why I recommend, if you want like an actual coach, I recommend going to an actual personal trainer. There are personal trainers that can be at gyms in your area. There are some that do online training where, you know, you'll set up a camera and you can chat with them online and do things like that. And that's better because that person is solely focused on you. Their energy is to be a fitness trainer. Their energy is to help people hit the goals that they want to hit in their health and fitness journey. It's not to how many more people can I recruit? Like, how many more people can I recruit to be fitness coaches with me? So that's why I always recommend that. So I am happy though that this person, you know, got out, but it does suck to see that they really were searching for that. You know, this individual was searching for a coach. Like, they really felt like they wanted a community. So they searched for that with Beachbody because they seen this person online portraying this community and then it, you know, didn't end up being what she wanted it to be and she gave it 2 tries. So I feel like if you give it more than 1 try, if you give an MLM more than 1 try, you know, with the same coach or whatever, or the same distributor, then you definitely can have a better picture of things. And what you said, it was like years apart. Yeah, 2017 is when you signed up and then spring of 2020. So 3 years later, this individual is still, you know, acting the same way, putting most of her energy towards recruiting. which sucks. That's how I know most MLMs are not about, you know, helping people or getting a product to someone that can actually do something for them. It's mostly surrounded by recruiting. So I hope this individual has found a coach or something actually around them that is certified, so that they can be, you know, on their journey. And if you are the person who sent me this and want recommendations, I personally know a really good personal trainer. One of my friends is a personal trainer. She does online training, so she has a couple different options. I can recommend you to her and you could chat with her. She also like hops on calls with people to see if it's like for them. So she does like her one-on-one training, and then I think she has like general training, but the one-on-one training is really great that she does, and a lot of her clients and stuff have seen really good results. So let me know if you want to be recommended to her, if anyone else does. If anyone in the comments wants to be recommended, I can always link my friend's like Instagram page or whatever. But that is going to be all for today's video. Let me know if you related to any of these stories. I'd love to hear more stories in the comments when you guys hear these and you comment on them and you engage with them and you support these individuals. Today wasn't, you know, the easiest stories to hear, so I know that these people would love some support for speaking out and speaking up about their MLM experience. So don't forget to like this video if you liked it. Make sure to leave that comment, and then don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! Bye, 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 bye.